Welcome to our weekly broadcast of the African Treasures. Here we bring to you African arts, culture, and music. We also discuss issues of concern to people of the African descent in America, the Caribbean, South America, Africa, and all over the world. We invite you to come and see Africa in a positive light. So stay tuned and tell your friends to do the same.
Welcome to another episode of the African Treasures. I'm Dr. Mike Okeke, your host.
And I'm Mutinta Mazoka Clyett, your co-host.
This program, African Treasures, focuses on people of the African descent who are doing positive things all over the world. In America, in Africa, Caribbean, South America, and everywhere. And today we have one of those Africans who are doing positive things in the person of Mr. Joe Beasley. Welcome to the show, Mr. Joe Beasley.
Thank you so much, Dr. KK.
Yes, sir. And Mutinta.
Well, would like to welcome you. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence here on African Treasures. Mr. Beasley, you are an amazing man. You've covered a lot of the world and covered various issues, but mainly you focus on civil rights. We're going to cover three of your organizations that you're affiliated with. You're the executive director of the Antioch Urban Ministries, Rainbow Push Coalition Southern Region, and the Atlanta Friendship Council. We want to find out a little bit more about Antioch Urban Ministries and what Antioch Ministries is all about, what your works are, and how you influence the community here in Atlanta.
All right. I've been on the staff at Antioch Baptist Church for over 20 years, where Reverend Cameron Alexander is the pastor. And over the 20 years, of course, we still have a lot of homeless and hungry people in the United States and Atlanta. And so, as a last resort, people come to the church for help. And so we started out with food bank, clothing bank, etc. But as the country has changed over the last 10, 15 years, the government is getting out of the business of people. And so it used to be that everybody could have housing, like public housing.
Right.
But the government's getting out of the business of housing. Public housing now, they want a choice tenant. And so the church was forced to get into the business of economic development, which include housing.
Interesting. Well, with the homeless in Atlanta, we've noticed, I mean, we see it on the news all the time. People just walk on the streets and find a lot of homeless people. How do you provide for these homeless people? How do you go about providing shelter for them, and how do they register with you? And
well, one of the tragedies of our experience here in America is, for almost 400 years we were slaves, and then after the emancipation we had another almost 100 years of rule by the KKK. And of course, with the changing from an agrarian system into a more mechanization, we were no longer needed on the farms, and I was on a plantation in Fayette County. But when the tractors and combines and cotton pickers came along, we were pushed off the land, and so we, quite frankly, many of us have never been settled in America. So we moved to the urban areas in the North, Atlanta, etc., and tenement housing with 5, 6 people to the room, and so. As we've changed and people have started migrating back to the South because of the climate and so forth, but many people, Africans and Americans, have never really had a home, and so it's not a phenomenon. It's public policy, quite frankly.
Right. Also, because on our program we like to extend ourselves, to our viewership to seek help, for your ministry. And so, if someone wanted to help out with the ministry, how do they go about doing so?
Well, they could stop by the church at the corner of Northside Drive and Kennedy Street.
Okay.
And my office is at 466 Northside Drive. And our church, again, have grown tremendously under Reverend Alexander's leadership. The church is 125 years old.
Right.
But we've grown to about 14,000 members. And it's a church that really helps people with food and, well, just basic fundamental needs
of humanity. Also, what's interesting is you mentioned that the church is 125 years old. I guess this also reflects to the construction of the church came from, was it a civil rights evolution towards this church? How did the church come about, and how does it sustain itself?
Well, the only real free institution within the black community in America is the church. The church, the congregation pays the pastor and pays the pastor and hire people to help him.
Right.
And so our livelihood is derived from our membership. And so therefore we have the freedom to speak out and do what we feel is right and just, and no one can call you and say, well, you know, you work for me and you might lose your job, you might lose your house, so forth.
Well, thank you very much for that. We look forward to, you know, working with you as a church and helping people out, and we hope that your ministry will continue to grow. And it's a pleasure having you here on our show.
Well, it's my delight to be here, and the phone number at the church is 404-688-5679.
Children of Mother Africa doing positive things all over the world. Today we have Mr. Joe Beasley, and we'll be back after this break.
The Law Office of Donald P. Edwards is proud to sponsor African Treasures, a program that celebrates the African continent, its people, its music, its past and its future. Wherever we are on the face of the earth, we are an African people.
Prime Care Learning Center is committed to building leaders of tomorrow. With one location in Riverdale and another in College Park, we cater to children from 6 weeks to age 14. Our babies are nurtured and tenderly cared for by our professional staff. Our children receive a healthy breakfast, lunch, and afternoon snack, and fun time on the playground. We offer a BECA program for pre-K 3 and up, and the High Scope program for Georgia Pre-K. We also provide pickup and drop-off buses for after-school programs. For more information, contact our College Park campus at 770-997-9305 or our Riverdale campus at 770-997-3435. Or you may visit our website at www.primecarelearning.com. To request a VHS copy of this show, you may call our office at 404-209-8654 and someone will assist you. Or you may send your request to African Treasures, P.O. Box 161345, Atlanta, Georgia 30321.
We are bringing the treasures of Africa from all parts of the world straight to you.
We're sharing with you Treasures of Africa, and our guest today is Mr. Joe Beasley. Welcome to the show again, sir.
It's great being here.
Mr. Beasley, I've heard a little bit about your activities in South America, the Caribbean, and all over the world. But what fascinates me is what's going on in Haiti. I understand you're involved with the celebration of the 200 years of independence with Haiti. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, absolutely. You know, the matter of slavery and the dehumanization of Africans, you know, whether it's in the U.S., Brazil, and Haiti, and some of the other islands. But there was a revolt in 1804 in Haiti when the Haitian people decided to rise up against the oppression of France. And of course they defeated Napoleon, and what was, I guess, debunked a lie about Africans being subhuman. While we were yet in slavery in the United States, the Haitians proved to the world that Africans are just people like other people.
1804?
1804.
That's a long time.
Well, we received our freedom in 1863, so you can see it, 1862. But in any event, almost 50 plus years, the Haitians have been free. And as a matter of fact, growing up on the plantation in Fayette County, just south of here, I read about the revolution in Haiti. It gave me great inspiration to fight for justice and change. And so we're putting together a cruise to Haiti. As it stands now, there's not a lot of hotel space in Haiti. And so we're leasing a ship from the Royal Caribbean to go to Haiti to celebrate that great event that I think that the Haitians are a great example for all of us living in the diaspora.
Bicentennial.
The bicentennial.
200 years.
200 years of freedom.
Never heard of that.
Now the other side of that is Haiti have some powerful enemies, quite frankly, and I see them as threefold. One, the United States have never forgiven the black Haitians for defeating Napoleon. And then, of course, we've got this matter going on all over the world of privatization. And what is happening, all of Africa, if we're not careful, is going to be privatized. And the two twin engines of white supremacy in the world is the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund.
Okay.
And so we have to be alert to that and stand up and call it the way it is. White supremacy must end. And the engine that's driving it, the Siamese twins, I call them, is the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund.
Interesting. So when is this trip going to be?
Well, it's going to be in August of 2004.
2004.
As a matter of fact, we'll be having a meeting at my home on the 11th of January, and I hope that you will come and others
thanks for the invitation.
living in the diaspora come and we're going to be sharing, and we'll have the minister from Haiti that deals with Haitians living abroad.
Thank you. We don't have much time, but I'd like to get into what's happening in Brazil. I understand there are about 100 million black Brazilians. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. 57% of the population of Brazil are Africans. We have, again, approximately 100 million Africans living in, and the horrible, I was in Brazil twice this year, first in May for the 118th anniversary for their emancipation from slavery. So they were in slavery a number of years long after we were free. And then I went back again last month.
And who are the colonial masters over there?
Well, the Portuguese.
The Portuguese, yeah. Okay. I don't know very much about the history. It's fascinating me. I'd love to know. Yeah. I'd love to go.
Yeah, well, I'd love for you to go. I'll be going back
I want to go. I want to go.
Okay, well, you'll be more than welcome. We're talking about the hospitality of Africans. The hospitality of Africans there in Brazil is just phenomenal. And
just like it is in motherland.
Yes, indeed, indeed. As a matter of fact, Ms. Bazoka, I've been in her home, and just wonderful, just wonderful. The Zambians are especially wonderful people.
So tell me, what type of activities do you have going on in Brazil?
Well, let me tell you, one of the things that we're determined to do, and that is the multinational corporations that is driving the world economy. There's a billion Africans on the planet, and we must use our resources to leverage equity for our people. And so one of the things that I was able to do last month in Brazil, to say to two major corporations headquartered here in Atlanta, Bell South and Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Africans in Brazil are drinking 58% of all the Coke consumed in Brazil, and yet they're not given equal opportunity and employment, just as here. Same thing with Bell South. Telephones was a rarity, quite frankly, for poor people in Brazil. They don't have landlines, but when this cell phone phenomenon came along, everybody have to have a cell phone.
Yes, yes.
And so we have young black Brazilians walking around with a cell phone rather than having a good meal, and they're still not being treated fairly in the workplace. And so we're saying to Bell South and to Coca-Cola, now we have leveraged our way into the marketplace at Coca-Cola, for example. And so we're making sure that we're treated fairly in the workplace. And so the handwriting is on the wall. I'm saying to my brothers and sisters in Brazil that I'm coming down and I'll go to jail with you to make sure that you start getting jobs that's commensurate with your support of these multinational corporations. So it really is kind of an exciting time.
Thank you, Mr. Beasley. This is fascinating. I wish we had more time to get into this Brazilian stuff and things going on in South America. But stay tuned, please. We'll be back. More from Mr. Joe Beasley.
We all know that dialysis can be an uncomfortable and tedious process. We at Trinity Dialysis Clinic understand this and strive to make your visit as positive and comfortable as possible. Our experienced staff and state-of-the-art medical equipment will ensure that you will get the best quality treatment available. Trinity Dialysis Clinic is conveniently located at 1354 Cleveland Avenue in East Point, just 5 minutes from the airport. Come and enjoy a relaxed and uplifting environment with us and make Trinity Dialysis Clinic your home away from home.
One cannot fall in love with that which they don't know. So remember to tune into African Treasures weekly. And keep in mind, to love Africa is to know Africa.
There is a lot more to Africa than wild animals and big trees. Tune in weekly to the African Treasures program and learn more about the modern-day Africa and the African people.
Mother Africa has been waiting for you to come home. So why don't you pay her a visit on your next vacation?
Welcome again. We're in the last segment of this exciting episode with Mr. Joe Beasley. And Mutinta, we did the first show back in September. We're on the about 11th show now, or already 11th episode. And our first episode was on misconceptions that Africans have about Americans and Americans have about Africans, and try to see how our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean fit into the picture. And we were just exploring issues, and some comments you made during that episode and the ones I made, I think we were a little bit misunderstood. And that, what I'm referring to is when we talked about how we were received here in America. When Africans come to America, how are they received? As opposed to when African Americans visit Africa, how are they received? It's a warm reception when they visit Africa, but we were expressing that we weren't quite well received when we got here. So I've gotten quite a few reactions from that. What did you get?
Well, personally, I stand by what I said in terms of you have to understand that we're different. It's a different context, and you have different expectations.
Yeah.
Africa, family is the root of it all.
Exactly.
And so we're very welcoming to our brothers and sisters from the United States.
Right.
When we, however, come here, I think it is a little naive of us to expect that we will be welcomed with open arms.
Why do you think you've been naive?
Because they are people that have fought in their own segment they have not yet been accepted in this country.
Okay.
So how then can they
learn how to accept somebody?
Right, other people. I mean, yes, they are welcoming, but it's a different type of reception.
Okay.
Because we have different legacies, and I think Mr. Beasley can elaborate on that, because this is a man who has traveled in the different parts.
Well, one of the dehumanizing part of slavery is that family were uprooted from one another, and if you spoke the same language, the same tribe, that was caretaken to separate you. So the notion of family was a misnomer during slavery. You'd have children, your children would be sold.
Right.
And so this alienation that is the trauma that we've still experienced. We looked at 9/11 and said, well, the country's traumatized. We said, if you want to learn about trauma, talk to African Americans. We've been traumatized ever since we've been here.
Yeah.
And so I think the notion that we're not hospitable and so forth grows out of the fact that, as you suggest, that we are still in an alien land.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's very difficult.
Mr. Beasley, how do you think we can break this barrier? Because, I don't know, after that first show, the reaction I got from Africans was, hey, Mike, that's good. I'm glad you're bringing this out. Fine, I'm glad you did this. And then the reaction I'm getting from our brothers and sisters here in African-American communities, oh, you're bashing African-Americans. But it's not about bashing. I wanted to stir up the thing, bring some consciousness to it, and see how we can bridge it. So help us out. How can we embrace each other? Help us out, because it's there.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, this beautiful black skin suggests that we're brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And so we just must, in some ways, just reach out to one of the things is a resettlement. Many Africans come here as a result of being resettled.
Yeah.
And the people that provide the resettlement not from our community. And so when the Africans come to Atlanta, for an example, they're relocated by either the Christian Council or some Catholic organization. Then they move the Africans, not into the African community, but way out, so we're separated. Yeah. And so, and I think one of the things that we have to understand, of all the foreigners in Atlanta, for example, the Africans are the best educated of all foreigners. A lot of people think that Asians are, but it's not true. Africans are the best educated foreigners in this country, and yet they're marginalized. So where are the Africans? For the most part, they're cab drivers with college degrees and so forth. So we have to come together.
Let me ask you this, sir. What will it take? I know I may catch some flags for saying this again. What will it take for African American brothers and sisters to know that we are here? Because I don't think they really, maybe in my expectation, maybe I'm expecting too much, but I don't think they really realize we're here.
What has happened, quite frankly, that we, since slavery, and we still have so much economic deprivation, we're trying to survive. We're at the level of security for the most part. Now, so most African Americans, 90% of African Americans, at least 70% of African Americans, are trying to get through the day. They don't have enough to pay their bills and so forth. And so some of these large ideological things, I think that the Lord, whomever you know him to be, is forcing us together. And I see that people are rising, Africans are rising, not only on the continent, but in the U.S. and throughout the diaspora.
Right.
So I think that we're on the Lord's short list now, and we're coming together. Okay. So I think that we need not despair, because I think the time is right.
Mr. Beasley, thank you very much for being on our show. We shall not despair, and we shall not give up hope. Thank you, sir.
Hope alive.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
For the past 10 years, the orthodontic clinic of Dr. Craig B. Williams has been creating beautiful and winning smiles on adults and children throughout Metro Atlanta.
Your smile says a lot about your self-confidence.
Using the latest technology, our team of dedicated professionals work to give you that beautiful and winning smile that fits your budget.
Our office is conveniently located near South DeKalb Mall. You can reach us at 404-243-3210.
I'm Dr. Craig B. Williams. My staff and I would like to salute Mother Africa as we continue to strive to provide the best orthodontic care for adults and children in Metro Atlanta.
Thank you for watching African Treasures. My name is Attorney Donald Edwards, a personal injury attorney with offices in Atlanta. Please feel free to call me at 404-526-8866 if I may be of service. Thank you.
Today's show has been brought to you by the following sponsors: Prime Care Learning Center, the law offices of Donald P. Edwards, the Trinity Dialysis Clinic, the Metro Ebony Pages, and the Orthodontic Clinic of Dr. Craig B. Williams.
For over 10 years now, the Metro Ebony Pages has been the only directory that caters to the minority communities in Metro Atlanta. For businesses trying to reach the minority communities, the Metro Ebony Pages is your vehicle. Individuals and families looking for services within the community, look first in the Ebony Pages. You may reach us at 404-209-8654.
We thoroughly hope you enjoyed this program as much as we did. We can find out more about the discussion that we had today with Mr. Joseph Beasley on our website, which is www.africantreasurestv.com. There's plenty more to that website, and it's an extension of our show. Thanks for watching.
Yemadaliwe maezumana boto. Yemadaliwe maezumana. Yemadaliwe maezumana boto.
This segment of African Treasures has been sponsored by Dr. Catherine Emerua, Director of the United Family Medical Center in Riverdale, Georgia.
Thank you for watching, and please join us again next week at the same time as we continue to share with you the treasures of Africa.